Hey guys, this is a quick update, and what I'm doing is looking at today's chart. It's the 15th of September. I'll just get my spotlight. So what we have is, there's a lot of energy always going on, and what transits are basically, they're doorways. They're like, we can see them. Transits are where we can see things go on around us, and we're in a big time of change. We all know this anyway, it's quite clear. If I run through the meaning of some of these planets, then we can begin to understand, and then we'll look at some of the aspects. And two I want to look at today is the Sun squaring the North Node, and then also Neptune also squaring the North Node, to understand what how the node works for us. So the North Node in our own chart, it's to do with the journey that we're on now, this path in our lifetime. So we will all have the North Node somewhere in our chart. The North Node takes about 1.5 years to move through a sign. Currently, the North Node is in Gemini. So this denotes basically, short journeys, and not so much, it's not overseas travel. This is to do with communication as well in Gemini. It's to do with marketing, it's to do with internet, it's to do with emails, it's to do with short journeys that we may go across on land that we're already on. And it's also to do with siblings. And it's ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is very left brain. We analyze that way. Uranus, on the other hand, is long-term memory. Just so that you know, it's quite interesting how the planets speak to us. So the North Node currently is squaring. You can see it's a square to Neptune in Pisces, and it's also a square to the Sun currently in Virgo. And we can see this is now a T square. We've also got some trines going on, and this is easy energy. It's a gift to us, so to speak, how we look at it. It's, where we're working things out, but the squares and the oppositions are where we have tension. So tension, astrology is nothing to be afraid of. It's almost like a square is something where, it's like going to the gym, picking up a muscle, we keep lifting that weight, and then eventually through the tension, we get a result in something. So that's a healthier way to look at astrology, because the planets are not doing anything to us. They're describing the archetypes and events, and the energy around a particular planet. So if we look at the moon, this is our ego, so to speak, healthy ego as well. Ego is given a bad rap in spirituality, but in Jungian terms, Jung, the ego is something that develops through confrontation. So that would be a square as well. The confrontation is the square. It's where we can have easy confrontation, or we can have confrontation that's a little bit more tension involved in it. So where should we go with this? Then we've got Saturn and Pluto and Jupiter. Saturn is simply, let's just say, restriction and rules. And Pluto is transmutation. It's where we transform and transmute. And Jupiter is about truth. And it can be grandiose also, but it can also be a gift to us. It's about higher education. And it's also overseas travel. So these planets were all at 22 degrees on the 22nd of January, and they all went retrograde. Jupiter has just literally gone direct in the last few days. So I would feel that with these planets also squaring Mars, we're really being pushed at the moment. We're looking for truth. And, a lot of the issues are overseas for all of us, whatever way we look at it in the world, we're all looking towards other countries and ourselves, like what's going on in the USA currently with fires and the elections coming up, and then lockdowns all over the world. So we're looking at the bigger picture with Jupiter, and Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio, and also Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. It's in its sign here. By the 21st of December, Jupiter and Saturn will be at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So this is a big shift for us that's taking place on the 21st of December. Things don't happen particularly on the days. The energy is already here. It's already working with us. It's like we're working through something. We had Mars go retrograde a few days ago, and that's going to be for 10 weeks. And I think it's the 14th of November, I think, if I recall, that it's going forward. And we may feel like we're walking through a bit, like water or sludge at the moment. And we need to look, not you, but we need to look, where is this in our chart? For me, that's in my 5th house of creativity. So it's looking for me, like how I'm sort of working out my physicality and also my creativity. And when we know where it is in our chart, then we can begin to work with it, and instead of it working against us. But there's a lot of tension there, and this is going on for quite some time. And what else should we go? We will go to, for now, we're going to look at this nodes. There's, not a lot of stuff out there on the nodes, and what they actually mean in aspect. It's quite hard to find, but I do search for information, and we want to look at what the sun means, so that we're looking at the sun square to this node. So the sun, it's our conscious ego, it's our self-expression, it's our creative life force, and it's our spontaneity, it's also our health, and it's also, our heart in things. It's like natural for us. And when it squares the node, when the sun is square the node, it's, the nodes are related to the subconscious. So we've got a path that we want to go on in life, and it's all sort of subconscious in us. And that the nodes in evolutionary astrology work with Pluto, because that's also, below the surface, and possible past life stuff. So with the South node, we're looking at our motivations from the past, and with the North node, we're looking to where we're going. So we will look at the North node would be here at the moment, but we can't see that symbolism on the chart. What we have is that the North node represents the conscious motivations, and it's to do with the present and also the future. And it's an unfolding. It's not something that we can, push or force. So a lot of us want to be living our North node, but again, we look where the North node is in our chart, because it takes a year and a half to go through a sign. The planets move this way around the chart. All of these planets move this way, but the nodes move this way around the chart, okay? They're always retrograde. And I will add, before I go on there, that we've got Pluto, we're going to have Saturn is going to be going direct this month, and then also Pluto on the 4th of October is also going to go direct. We've also got Uranus retrograde, Mars is retrograde, Chiron is retrograde, Neptune is retrograde. So we're in this happens every year, these retrogrades. They're just a way of how we're working with it with our own psychology. So the squares of the nodes are known as skipped steps, particularly in evolutionary astrology. It's where we're missing something, we're not quite getting something, and it can be a struggle, and it can be to do with our past life, and when it's where we're being forced now, through some karmic sort of thing that's going on in us, to sort it out and move forward. And when we have things that square the nodes, it can be frustrating for us and feel a bit painful. And, we might be, I don't know how people are feeling out there. I mean, please, comment below the video, but I think we're all struggling with our psyche, not in that there's anything wrong with us. It's just that we're looking at our old traumas, and with the Chiron thing in Aries, we're looking to self to evolve that. And we're also at the same time looking to lose our codependency, not just in relationship to partners and stuff like that, but in the sense to, society as a whole, the rulership of the world. It's like looking to others to fix things for us. It's like we have to mature. This is what we're being asked to do at this point. And this is what we're working on to evolve, to look after, give examples, to look after our air quality, to look after, how we throw things away, to look after the children, to look after how we're educating each other, you know, to police, not, I don't mean police in them, you know, to have healthy rules that, you know, work for people instead of against people. So we're going through a lot of frustration with this square at the moment. And also it's where we feel like we might be making a sacrifice because the sun is square in the nose. So it's to do with sacrifice, and it's bringing something to our attention, and also to do with our contribution to each other in the world. And it can be that we've got something going on, and we don't want to be too driven by our ego with this as well. We want to make sure that we're not, what we're trying to do is not just egocentric. We want to do what's good for all of us at this time. And we may have difficulty achieving what we want to achieve right now because we've got to work through it. So it's better that we slow down, and also that we look at our talents and, you know, our leadership skills, that we can, how can we look after ourselves at the moment? How can we help others? Because this is our future that we're looking at with this North Node here. And it's also to do with, you know, being our recognition and our ambitions and, you know, our gifts, the sun, and being true to ourselves and our self-expression, and, you know, not holding ourselves back, you know, because we can be held back by all of the rules and regulations, but we don't have to hold ourselves back. We can begin to see things in a way in the psyche and begin to organize our lives that it's not so painful for us. Now with Neptune Square, the node here, because this is really what this video is about, you know, it's basically an outer planet. And we've also, you know, this is to do with, you know, beyond this realm. And with this square, it can be, there can be frustration and a repeating theme, because this is also to do with delusion, you know, Neptune, but Neptune also washes away things. It washes away the illusions. So this is probably, whilst it's tension, it's very useful to us, because we have been, you know, living in illusions with our own lives, you know, not to do with the way the governments are ruling, but just the way we rule ourselves, you know, and the way we're delusional in that we think that it's only the governments that are going to sort things out. We've all got to pull together and be visionary. So, and we've all got gifts. So, you know, what is the gift and what is our vision? Which way do we want to be going? And also with Neptune, you know, it's about art, it's about music, it's about film, it's about, you know, painting and doing all sorts of things and designing new things. So when we look at COVID, for instance, you know, Neptune is of the invisible realm. It's like when we go to sleep, also dreams. So we can see that we're trying to sort something out. We're trying to, you know, bring something in that's going to change, that's visionary as well. So we don't want to be, you know, our dreams need to be realistic in order to reach them. You know, if we're dreaming for things that, you know, we're just wearing rose-colored glasses, we're not going to get very far. And we may have also big spiritual insights as we move through this, so that we get to, you know, live out some of the spiritual realm in this realm. And this can also mean that we want to work, you know, in seclusion at this time. A lot of us at the moment are in lockdown on our own. I know I've been particularly spent a huge amount of time on my own this year, but it's been very beneficial to me to look at my own early trauma and any issues that I have around, you know, what I need from other people, and looking at how I can meet my own needs. And the South Node, we know, is to do with past life, and, you know, it can distort us emotionally, and but we can be fueled by the past, even though it's not really good for us as well. So sometimes we're fueled by the past and the South Node because it's what we've known. It's like, and what we've been imprinted with and what we know feels safe. So at this point, you know, we want to throw off, and we want to get to that North Node and throw off the past and begin to handle the crisis that's going on around us and be realistic. And with, you know, we need to use our imagination as well. And we're going to go in the right direction eventually, because all of these planets are going to be shifting. It's going to be, you know, a hard few months ahead of us, and then it's probably going to keep running through until, you know, January, February, March, and then things will begin to soothe, and we'll clearly have new rules, and there may be a few things that we've got to deal with, but overall, you know, the bigger picture is good. That's my view at looking at these charts. You know, it's time, and we're going to be taking our own paths. The individuation that Carl Gustav Jung spoke of, we will be taking our own paths. You know, some people will be happy staying in the system of rulership, and some people will decide that they're really going to live their lives in a different way now. So we need to release as much fear as we can. We're all on the same boat, flying through space on planet Earth, and we've got so much time here. So if we can work with our psyche and be balanced and do some body work, and I'm not talking about exercise, but, you know, self-massage, you know, hot baths, and, or, you know, not hot baths, it depends what, if you're in a hot country, but really just, you know, nurturing the body, giving it the food it needs, the proper water, having friends that you can speak to share your current emotional states that get you. So yeah, I've got a lot more to say on this, but I'll leave it there for today. And if you want a session with me, do book, and please subscribe if you haven't, because I want to grow my channel. That's what I'm up to, among other things. Okay, I'll catch you later. And I will add, I'll probably get some lives going and bring up a chart and get a few live YouTubes going at some point. And if you subscribe and hit the notification, then you'll be informed when I do that. Okay, thank you for watching. Thanks.